Welcome to your pick a card reading. Some guidance on what these changes will bring. Select a pile 1, 2, or 3. The timestamp for pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Enjoy your reading. Thank you. Hi, lovely people. Today I thought I would try a reading at home because there have been technical difficulties with nature not adhering to my expectations when it comes to audio. In particular, as pleasant as the wind is, for me, it makes it difficult for you at home or wherever you happen to be when hearing the reading to hear what I am saying. And that also includes if you're wearing headphones, hearing the as the wind blows wildly, and maybe that is your thing. Maybe you enjoy that sound. Maybe you're into AMSR, but if that is not your primary reason for watching my videos, it may be rather bothersome to you. Today I thought it would be easier if I trialed it at home. I've done readings at home before. I've done them in my back room, but this time I'm trying it in a lighter room without black in the background. I'm doing it in my little book nook. So yeah, I'll be working with the movie tarot today, and let's shuffle the cards. The theme of today, I think, is timing. Paying attention to timing and how things are unfolding. Now, there are many elements to time, and card fell down. Come on. Okay, Five of Swords. Okay, so I'll put that to the side for now. I'll get to my point. Timing is different for everyone. We act like time is this universal concept, but in reality, it's quite subjective, particularly living on a floating rock floating through space. You may experience seasons at different times, and even every 24-hour cycle is different and unique for every person, even within the same country, if your country is big enough. So I think that that's the main point that I want to push for this reading. If you chose this reading, the vibe check is the theme is around timing. You may be worried about whether or not on other people's schedules or your own time, there may be a sensation of FOMO, fear of missing out. You are running, wondering if your time has gone and passed, or you may be noticing what other people choose to do with their time and whether or not the way time operates for them is that suitable for you. Does that work with your timing? So other cards fell out. So there's 4 cards that have fallen out so far. So keeping what I said in mind, with the Five of Swords, the Five of Swords is very much about conflict, adversarial relationships between people, in particular because it is the air sign, it is the sword suit. It, generally speaking, it can be more related to the throat chakra and things that are said, verbal exchanges, altercations. And I'm really drawn to the eye. So with the blue and the eye at the head of the sword, I kind of feel this evil eye energy. So you have earned the ire of someone is what popped into my head. I don't know if that's going to resonate with everybody, but I'm really seeing evil eye energy very strongly in this card. I'm seeing the real jagged energies, the jagged edges. So that's the first thing that I'm noticing. Someone is angry at you right now because you're not making time for them, especially with this Empress energy. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. The lens is kind of blurry. Can you see it? So yeah, it's Empress energy. It's the depiction of Elizabeth Taylor in Cleopatra, I believe. So I paused it for a moment there, seeing if I could enhance the picture quality, but it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So I'm sorry, you're just going to have to be satisfied with what you get. And that may be a message for somebody, because there is that Five of Swords energy. Someone might not appreciate you being like, well, you get what you're given in regards to your time. They may not appreciate that. I got the Ace of Cups reversed, and also I believe that is Strength in reverse. So the images is, I am unsure. I'd have to look at the guidebook, but I think that is actually supposed to be Rachel McAdams from The Notebook, and Strength from obviously Sigourney Weaver's depiction. Oh, I forget her name, but in Aliens, her character in Aliens. And those are in reverse. So what I'm getting is, with the Ace of Cups in reverse, with the Emperor upright, and the Five of Swords upright, what I'm getting in particular is that someone might be upset at your glow up, so to speak. And they might see your strength as a weakness. So the way that you are stepping into your power and your confidence, people, I heard the word cavalier. I'm going to look that up later, but cavalier came to mind. So you see yourself as, I'm not saying that you see yourself as powerful, but they are perceiving this new era, perhaps before you do, and they're seeing it as too big for your boots. There's a bit of tall poppy syndrome theming here. So I was called to tell you strength is Leo energy. I don't know why. Oh. There's a bit of all elements there, really. Two of coins, Six of Wands, Eight of Swords, and Three of Wands fell out. So, okay, let's see if there's any relation to how they fell out. So, Two of Wands and Six of Wands, Two of coins, sorry. Two of coins and Six of Wands fell out together. And then Eight of Swords and Three of Wands. So what I'm getting is, with the Eight of Swords, is that there is concern. Well, I heard that there's concerns that maybe you are moving on to greater things. So there's like an element of envy there, perhaps. They're feeling trapped by their own insecurities, because the Three of Wands for you, I feel that the Three of Wands is you, your energy, and your expanding your horizons and exploring your passions. And perhaps the Eight of Swords for them is the what's happening with you and the changes that you're undergoing that they perceive as weakness, and you feeling shut out because of the Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah, I'm feeling very strongly that they're feeling that you're shutting them out. And I'm noticing the alien hanging over in the background. And so what I'm hearing is that you are very experienced in life, and that you're an ocean BS kind of person. And so when you see something's not quite right, regardless of what it is, and I'm not saying that these other people are doing something wrong, but you don't have time for silly games. And perhaps they're perceiving that as some kind of weakness. Like, you're not you don't have a high emotional intelligence and EQ, but you're really stepping into your Empress energy and you're deciding what aligns with you. But that is going to rub people the wrong way. And you are going to have people watching from the sidelines and being bothered by the changes that you're trying to make in your life because you're in this transitional period. And obviously, the people who feel threatened by that and don't fit well with you and who you are transforming into to move on to this new timeline, they're going to be a little bit threatened by that, and they're going to want to knock you down a peg. So I think that's the same. Yeah. So with the Empress energy, again, I'm going to interpret that with the strength in reverse because I see that Empress energy as your strength. And so seeing the strength in reverse, I'm thinking that they are seeing that as a shadow attribute where they're thinking that you are being arrogant or you're stuck up, something to that effect, something of that nature. And they're sensitive to the fact that you are maybe not as compassionate for their goings on in their life as you used to be. And perhaps it's because you don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. You have worked out that you need balance. You need balance in order to achieve and be recognized for your strengths, as is the case with the Empress. I see a lot of creative energy. So maybe you have creative pursuits that you're trying to pursue right now. And so you don't really have time for maintaining these relationships. It would not surprise me if later on the Hermit comes out, but even if it doesn't, even on its own, the Ace of Cups in reverse is how you are being perceived as perhaps rejecting love that is being offered to you. And the Ace of Cups in reverse and strength in reverse is that, yeah, you don't have the emotional intelligence to maintain these relationships. That is what I am getting. But I am seeing that you better prioritizing the people who lift you up and the people who aren't constantly making social demands of you is how you accept that call to adventure is what I hear. You are tired of following other people's lead. You want to work with people who work on your time. You're sick of following everybody else's lead. You feel highly restricted by other people's schedules. And you want to make a schedule that works for you. And the Six of Wands fell down right then. And so I feel very strongly, because it fell in reverse on the ground as I was holding it, I feel like remaining in this situation, you're going to be left feeling unrecognized, unacknowledged. Let me give you an example. Say you've got a really good friend group and you really, really like them, you really get along, and everything is great. But you start to see signs that maybe you're not held in such high regard as you once thought you were. Maybe you thought these people were your close friends. And you realize that you were maintaining this relationship, this friendship group, because you were constantly working on their time. And so you did an experiment and you went, what if I worked on my time? How often would I hear from these people? And maybe you get an email saying, oh, where have you been? I miss you. And then you go, oh, hey, we should meet up because, you miss me, I miss you. Let's catch up. I've been really busy. I'm sure you've been really busy. Let's catch up. It's been ages. And then all of a sudden, they're looking to slip you in 2 or 3 months' time. Now, this goes from they're missing you and going, oh, I've been thinking about you so much, to see you in 3 months. Well, that is a sure sign that that person or those people are used to working on their schedule, not yours. It doesn't mean that they don't value as a person, but that you have been trying to fit into their lives and they don't really make space for your life and your family. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that people are not enjoying the new you. And I am cautioning you to not be deterred by potentially harsh words that are coming your way in the near future. Perhaps there are a few nasty exchanges that are coming in your near future. And do not fear this. It is, in reality, it's like what fits for you is for you, and what doesn't should be left to fall away. So I don't want you to fear this exchange, because ultimately, from what I see, it's mainly a verbal altercation. It's a verbal disagreement. So don't fret. It's nothing dangerous. And I feel like it's going to be in relation to you standing in your power. Maybe because you are stepping into that Empress energy, they are perceiving that as somehow not genuine or disingenuous, because they don't know you in that capacity. They don't know you as your strength. They only know you as your weakness, your shadow expression of the Empress. Maybe that's how they first met you, at your low point to begin with. So when you start to expand and improve and heal, well, they're going to perceive that strength in the inverse. It's going to invite a lot of criticism. You'll have a lot of critics. But I want you to stay balanced, and I want you to keep moving towards your goal. So what I often notice about the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the Two of Pentacles, it's all about juggling resources, moving them around. And so I think that the message here is to keep things moving. Don't allow their words to slow down your ascension, your progression. You've worked really hard at this. This is not something that it is natural that, sometimes we take 3 steps forward and 1 step back. I don't want you to be too harsh on yourself. But it is really, really important. I get for this collective, it's really, really important that in order to reach this stage, to be celebrated, don't you want to be celebrated? These people do not celebrate you. You are not being celebrated for the strong. I heard the word enigmatic. Enigmatic. There may be something quite enigmatic about you. And that is something that should not be discarded. It should not be repressed. It should not be suppressed. Because otherwise you'll continue having this. Whoa! Okay. My hand just decided to throw the Eight of Swords away. So I'm getting that you shouldn't fixate on that feeling of entrapment. You should just let it go. And once you let it go, there will be so many things. It will light you up. It will light your fire, and you will find all the right people who share your interests. You won't be trying to fit into somebody else's time. You won't have that sense of chasing these relationships. And I feel that this is primarily relationships based. You're feeling like, with the Eight of Swords, there's this feeling of stuckness, like being able to expand and travel and experiment and follow your dreams and your goals and your passions. I feel like with the Eight of Swords energy, that feels kind of out of reach for you, and it has been for a while. And the thing is, the energy of the Eight of Swords is, of course, you are blindfolded, of course, you are tied up, of course, you are disadvantaged. But the thing is about the Eight of Swords is that as if the tide comes in and you just sit there and you just assume, I am trapped, I can't get out of this situation, you will remain trapped and you will imperil yourself. You will imperil yourself by continuing these patterns of making yourself small to fawn. And so, although I don't want you to be necessarily explosive in your retreat, maybe there's a situation where love has turned sour. That's only going to apply for a select number of people. Maybe you're dealing with a very unhealthy relationship dynamic and a very heated kind of relationship. I'm not alluding to anything violent necessarily. If that is the case, I advise you to seek professional advice in silence on that matter. For most people, I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about this call to adventure. You are so much bigger, so more vibrant, so much more radiant than these small-minded people believe. And it's because you came to them in a vulnerable state. You came to them when you were at your low point. I'm sure that if you remember the movie Alien, overall you would say that her character, Sigourney Weaver's character, was quite strong and powerful. But that is in context of the entire story. If you were to trim or select like key moments in that film, there are times you could make her look frightened and weak. And I feel that for this collective, that is the case for you. This particular person or this particular group found you when you weren't feeling like the Empress and that you were weak. So with the Empress, the background occult energy is Demeter, who is the goddess of good harvests and spring and all of that stuff in ancient Greek mythology. And I am called to push you towards the story of the abduction of Persephone and look at the dynamics that if at certain points in time each of the women, the deities in that story, at different moments, they may seem inexperienced or not very knowledgeable or not qualified. These are things that I'm thinking of where they are seen at their low point, not their high point. But then, due to their circumstances, what do they go into? What do they grow into? And so in the timeline where these particular people fit in this timeline, it's very easy to perceive yourself as unworthy, incompetent, or weak, and to downplay your strengths, which is the Empress. And you have this creative well of energy. I want to swirl my hands around. I think that maybe there might be a solar plexus blockage for some of you, and you may actually have to research. The thing I'm hearing is diet in particular, eating fruits and vegetables that stimulate an underactive solar plexus chakra. So if that resonates with you, Maybe you have been feeling rather depleted. Maybe you haven't felt like the Empress of late. And for some of you, diet is a way to at least reactivate that chakra that may be undeveloped or inactive at this time. So I'm going to pick up that card and I'm going to put the cards back in the deck. And I'm going to have, this flipped out while I was trying to put the cards away. So I feel like that is the central theme of the cards, of the reading, sorry. The Three of Wands. Travel may be on the horizon for you. Now, maybe unsuspected travel, unanticipated travel, unplanned travel. You may not have planned for this travel to occur, but it will be exciting. And perhaps it's that adventure, call to adventure that you need to get things moving, and also to ignore the noise, to ignore the critics. Sorry, I like to shuffle my cards before I put them back in the box, because I always have this concern that if I pick up the cards next time, I'll just get the exact same reading. I know that's an unfounded fear, because after all, there are some people that just pick up their deck and just take the random card off the bottom of the deck. Every person's reading is different. But the way that I like to do things is I like to give everything the chance that it needs to unfold in the way that it is supposed to, in the way that is most relatable to other people, not myself. Okay. Oh, wow. I just took a deep breath and it cracked my back. So, again, I want to call you to maybe balancing those chakras and getting yourself in alignment. So, is there any other clarifying information before we wind up this reading? Okay, so I only feel called to pull out two cards. And first is Jackie Collins, and the text at the bottom says, "Be real." Someone here might be an aspiring writer. I'm not sure what type of author Jackie Collins is. I think that she might be a romance writer. I'm not 100% sure. I can check it right now. Number 13 may be relevant. In the major arcana, number 13 from memory is death or transformation. So again, that may confirm the message of you having a glow up. Okay. Sage, also sleuth, expert, scribe. So I'm getting the feeling that maybe Jackie Collins wrote true crime. Okay, she's an English author. She sold 500 million copies internationally. Wow, 500 million internationally. She wrote the Hollywood series consisting of 4 novels. The Lucky Santangelo. Oh, I just butchered that. Anyway, so yeah, I've never ever heard of those books, but obviously she sold a lot of books. Okay, so she was born 4th of October and she died 19th of September. So what is that? That sounds like Leo and Scorpio season. That might be relevant for some of you. Okay. Interestingly, the author claimed that Jackie Collins came through seance, and I found her to be articulate, intelligent, and genuine. absolute thrill to speak with. She's very open on spiritual matters. So you may be a highly spiritual person, or perhaps your vocation is related to spirituality, but not necessarily. Okay, so okay, it does say, I'm sure a lot of her information came from stories she heard, people she had known who had perhaps confided in her, or good, juicy gossip she had heard from the grapevine in society. So again, I think that that really confirms that Five of Swords energy that we heard earlier, people being sneaky, perhaps wanting to know your business. So I want you to stand in integrity. And I've heard this cliche so many times, and it's kind of tired at this point, but you might appreciate it, so I will repeat it. It's what other people think is none of your business. Now, from a person who like empathizes with people of the past who have been rather reclusive and have been persecuted due to being introverted and keeping to themselves, I would say, for the most part, I don't actually agree with that message, but it's something that you may agree with. So, Spirit wants you to know that knowing what they say about you isn't going to be helpful to you, and it's none of your business, and it's only going to get in the way. It's only going to get in the way of the things that you care about, the things that you value. And the second card is Paula Yates, which is a name again that I have heard of, but I'm not really familiar with what she does exactly. And the message under that is hope is a gift, and that is number 15. So I'm going to have a quick look at number 15. Bohemian Bohemian, free spirit, or flirt. And the word at the top is explorer. So this is actually kind of a difficult card deck, oracle card deck to navigate, because you think the message is hope is a gift, but in the guidebook there's also keywords such as explorer, and which would match up with the Three of Wands energy, confirmation for that, and sage. So sage is more high priestess energy rather than empress energy, but for the purpose of this reading, I'm going to say that there are elements of the empress and the high priestess that are similar, but empress is a lot more active energy. It's about acting and doing and creating, whereas high priestess is being receptive. And I want to say that under these circumstances, it's you want to listen and you want to be receptive to feedback and you want to be a good part of the team, but I'm just going to say that you're not really built for that. And if they want to be a part of what you are trying to build, they will make space for you. They will make time for you. Don't chase to be on their timeline. Be inviting and welcome and warm so people are able to fit into your life if they choose it. So I think that's all I have for you today. If you like the message, obviously like, comment, subscribe, you know, to ring the bell. I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you. Hello, collective. If you chose this pile, this is your reading. So, I'm looking over at my One Punch Man poster, and I am thinking about, I'm not really an anime fan, but I really enjoy the message of One Punch Man season 1. And it really makes you think about what does make a hero? What makes someone exceptional versus someone who is ordinary? What is someone who is recognized versus someone who is not recognized? And how do people get recognized for positive traits when they're a negative person? How do negative people who are influential in a negative way, how do they manage to get a positive public perception, and yet another person who can be very authentic can be perceived as somehow disingenuous, fake, or negative in some way? There's some negative perception. And so you may be asking yourself, what do you value about yourself? What makes you a good person? And what makes you feel like you're a terrible person? Because we can go through cycles where we may not be at our best. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. Even the best people can have bad days and treat other people badly. So there may be a moment of self-reflection for you right now. And maybe for others, dissatisfaction. Maybe there's a sense of injustice for some of you, where you feel like the wrong people are being recognized. What are the people in this world that you feel like they actually have a negative impact, but they are embraced positively, wholeheartedly? And that may be something that's like very deeply on your mind right now. And I kind of feel like the message is to see things in their duality. I was only talking to my partner the other day about how humans perceive good and evil. And there are some people who argue because there is evil in the world that there can't be a divine energy behind it or a greater purpose for it. And some people may be dissatisfied with the explanation of God works in mysterious ways. There was a greater purpose for it. But if you examine things with a neutral mindset and think about how so much good can be possible out of a terrible thing, and how terrible things can motivate or mobilize people to do great things. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, where the people who are well-intentioned, who are mobilized to do great things, and through some missteps along the way, end up being on the wrong side of history. Even with the greatest intentions, I hear the word besmirched. Your reputation may become besmirched. Think about, and you can be an apolitical person, but just think about the changes that have happened over the last, let's say, decade. And you think about what was considered good then is considered bad now. And what is considered bad now was good then. And so one has to ask, where are we heading in the next 10 years? What is going to be our beliefs in the next 10 years? How do our actions now shape the future? And it may not be what you think. You may think that you are on the right side for the right reasons, and you coalesce to join up and fight against the big bad, who is asking you to fight the big bad. And why are you fighting the big bad for? And how does it affect you? How does it affect you personally? And this is a question that people like to forget or neglect, because they think that asking themselves, how does this affect me, is somehow selfish. But there is more to the question than that. There's a depth to it. That by not asking your question, you're neglecting a lot of subconscious influences. You can say, I'm fighting for this because it's the right thing. But what's your subconscious motivation for doing so? So I think the question for the collective today, and I'm only saying this because it is, I feel for this reading in particular, if you selected this reading, you are deeply reflecting upon the direction of your life. This isn't some frivolous, petty social dispute that has been weighing heavily on your mind. You're actually thinking about things on a global scale. You're thinking about much higher stakes things. And when you are whipped up into a frenzy, you may jump onto a cause that you don't really fully understand. And not only don't understand, like in the now, what it truly represents, but you're not necessarily going to be aware of what it's going to represent or what it's going to evolve into the future. So now the channel message is reflect upon your subconscious motivations for why you care about these things and why it affects you, because it's going to be really important for things to come in the future, not just for you, but for a lot of people. So be mindful. Perhaps it's about not being rash and to sit back and observe and see how things unfold and see if things are as bad as they seem, or if perhaps there are alternative motives for whipping you into that frenzy, making you fear something which could happen, but which may not happen, and which could happen, but maybe you make it happen. So that's all I have for the channel message. And I'm not even sure if that is related to your personal life. In fact, I actually think that the card reading is going to be more to do with your personal life, and that the channeled reading was essential because getting involved in these auxiliary issues are going to deeply impact what's going on in your personal life, which is unrelated to the things that you are worried about. I hope that makes sense. So what cards have decided to come out? Emperor in reverse, Tower in reverse, King of Coins in the upright position, Three of Coins, Eight of Swords in reverse, and Four of Coins in the upright position. So the impression that I am getting immediately, I'm going to turn to the Emperor in reverse and the Tower in reverse. So the Emperor in reverse is about feeling like you are a powerful authority, you have an internal locus of control, and you are the commander in your own life. You have power over the goings on in your own life. And the Tower is all about external precipitating events that we have to respond to in a timely manner. And it's about having external locus of control is what it's referred to. Not, it's things happening to you in the environment. Things that you did not do, but you still have to react to nonetheless. So the Emperor is your sense of control, and the Tower are the events where you have no control. So there are things going on in the environment. Okay, so maybe the channel message is relevant because the Tower is all about things that you have to respond to quickly. And it's about change that you didn't precipitate or necessitate. And You have to react quickly. Things are crumbling and you have to dive out those windows quickly. You don't have time to respond. Sorry if that's triggering to someone. I don't know why it would be triggering. There may be cultural references. As an Australian, I'm not privy to, but the tower in the Rider-Waite depictions have people leaping out of a tower that was struck by lightning, as if an act of God, and they're all scrambling, and it's usually like get out of your ivory tower kind of energy, where you've been removed from a situation and you were oblivious to the goings on, and then the tower happens and you have to respond quickly and you have to scramble to make sure that you get out alive. And so when I get the Emperor in reverse and I get the tower in reverse, I get that you were totally blindsided by something and it's undermined your sense of control and authority in your own life and made you forget who you are and that you are the agent of your own destiny. And even though things can happen to you, you can decide whether things happen to you or whether they happen for you. And there is a reason for why things happen the way that they do. And some things, tragedies happen, things that we may not necessarily want to happen, and there is nothing that we can do to change that. We can only change to how we respond to them. And I feel at the moment you are not stepping into your power and your authority and being an instigator in your own destiny. You're just sitting in front, I heard sitting in front of a television, but that may not be the case. You may not be like, I don't know why I heard that. So maybe someone could be unemployed at this time. Perhaps they're fretting about global affairs too much and things that are happening on the other side of the world. I'm noticing that he's holding a pharaoh's scepter. I think that's what you would call it. And a weapon. He's holding a gun. So maybe you are worrying about current affairs, global events that are happening on the other side of the world that you don't really have much control over. And you're wondering how these events are going to affect you in the future. It's like when anything terrible happens, people like try and relate it to them. And I want you to refrain from doing that for the time being. Because I feel like there's the King of Coins here. But the thing about the King of Coins, the depiction of Gene Wilder in Willy Wonka, he's very wealthy. He has managed his resources well. And he's quite eccentric. But one thing that he cannot deal with very well is the outside world. He has created a world of his own that he fits into, and he doesn't like anyone's interference in that world. And so you may be a deeply introverted person, and usually that is to your benefit, but you've allowed it, other energies like the tower here, to infiltrate your abode, infiltrate your safe space. And so perhaps that has made you a bit unbalanced and unable to manage your resources. Maybe you're being a bit... Okay, so there's the Three of Swords here. And the Eight of Swords reversed. And the Three of Coins. So Three of Coins, Four of Coins, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. So what I'm getting, sorry, my dog was barking at nothing. So I don't know if that was confirmation for somebody or it, I don't know. But she does sometimes bark at the wind. So maybe it was just that. It's up to you. You use your discernment. I forget what I was saying. Oh, yes. It was relating to the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords in reverse, and the Four of Pentacles. So I feel like these events that have occurred, you are very capable of working with other people and seeing other people's point of view. And you aren't always this, I heard this helpless. You aren't always this helpless. But something has changed within you that may have made you a little bit more reserved in your energy and what you would like to give to others. Maybe you're about a little more discerning about who you give to. So that's all I want to get from this particular deck. For some reason, no, you know what? I will have a little bit more of a shuffle because I feel like I heard on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what that means. Moon in reverse. So what I'm hearing is delusions are a temptation right now. So there is a quote from Labyrinth, David Bowie's character, the Goblin King. And there's an abusive element to something that he says to woo Jennifer Connelly's character. And it's the perfect example of gaslighting. And it's like, as long as you do what I say and this and that, I'll give you everything you want. And that's not the exact quote. I call you to look up the exact quote because it is a beautiful example of how something, when somebody doesn't know any better, it may seem like what is being offered is better than what is actually being offered. What is being offered is an illusion. It's not truthful. It's not truthful. There's a lot under the surface that you do not know about and you cannot see. The word that came to mind is malinformation, which is the concept that something can be the truth, but the truth being harmful to the objective of the opposing party or the person you're interacting with. So it to be left out or omitted. I actually heard the word occluded, but I don't think that that's right. Occluded. The truth to be occluded. So that may match up with someone's specific circumstances, that particular phrasing. So I would include it. Okay, Two of Wands. I think there's two divergent paths that you could go. There are two things that are demanding your attention right now. Eight of Coins. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction. Look, okay, let me be clear with you. I'm intuitive reading here. It's what I say is not always going to match up with the strict Rider-Waite definitions. These are from my intuition. And what I get from this is that at the moment, with the moon, you are unsure where you should direct your attentions. And these illusions that are captivating you right now may be distracting you from the thing you should be focusing on. So that there's that dualistic energy. Both things are attractive and holding your interest, and you could go down both paths. But at the moment, you are very much engrossed, captivated by what the moon has to offer. There's something very tempting about what is being offered to you. What are you being shown? You're being very captivated by what you're being shown with your eyes. But what is being shown to your eyes is an illusion. It's deceptive. And it only serves to disempower. And it distracts you from your progress, what you have achieved in your physical environment. You're at a point where you actually need to stop and take stock, is what I hear. Stop and take stock. Or you'll go from the Three of Pentacles to the Four of Pentacles. Maybe the Eight of Swords reversed is the idea that there's something pleasurable in being trapped, that you're not actually trapped at all. So the upright meaning is that you are trapped, but you're not actually as powerless as you think you are. With some creative thinking, that you can get yourself out of the situation. But I got a bit of chest pain there. That's unusual. So someone might be triggered by what I'm saying. But maybe the thing that you are worried about is all an illusion. And with the reverse Eight of Swords, it's a manufactured problem. And I'm not saying this to invalidate your experiences or make you doubt yourself. I'm not putting the blame on you, because there is a lot of illusion. There's a lot of illusion. And it's with the purpose of turning you into the Emperor in reverse, who is a person who has lost control and feels powerless and may behave in ways that is unbecoming to them as the Emperor in reverse. They may behave in ways that they otherwise wouldn't, in order to feel or restore a sense of control in their life. Is there anything else, Spirit? The World in reverse. Again, it's that energy of focus on focus on more local. The World in reverse came out, and when I see the World in reverse, I see the Hangman. So it's saying stop and think. Don't be worried about the change in the cycle. With the Tower in reverse, you were totally caught by surprise by this change. So it's totally unexpected. And it's making you feel powerless. But it's saying don't focus on that change. Don't focus on that change. Focus on what can be improved in your life. Perhaps it's serving as a distraction. It's serving as a distraction from the things that you can change in your own life. And what I'm hearing is there's lots to change. There's been lots of change on the outside and things going on in the world. But perhaps the change that needs to happen is within you. And perhaps that change keeps you stuck with that reverse Eight of Swords energy. It really stops you from really fully embodying the Emperor in the upright position, which I feel is representative of this collective. Very heavy energy in the lower abdomen, around the sacral and the solar plexus. region, and I got a stabbing pain in the heart. So I feel like there could be heartbreak. Maybe there's heartbreak that is making you focus on all of the wrongs that are in the world. And you're hoping that by obsessing over these distractions, that it will make everything be better. It will make you feel more abundant, more purposeful, more powerful. But the strong advice, is the world in reverse. And like I said, I really see the Hanged Man in imagery in there. And I'm also seeing Lilu and her outfit, which is made out of just basically bandages in the form of crosses. And so someone may be leaning into their more spirituality. But I'm hearing like the dark side of spirituality, where you're using the external to bypass the changes that need to happen on the inside. And if you, I don't want to offer any spoilers, just in case you haven't watched this movie, you should probably click forward the next 10 seconds. But the twist is, the answer is love. The fifth element is love. And that is how you will get past this little blip in your circumstances. To get over this heartbreak is unconditional love and compassion for people that you wouldn't normally have compassion for. And once you let go and understand that they are on their own journey, and they're not doing things or believing things because they are deeply terrible people and they are evil, and you are righteous and you are good, and you are the, I don't know why I heard this because this doesn't sound right, purveyor of justice. You, purveyor of justice, not arbiter of justice, but purveyor of justice. So I'm going to have to look up what purveyor means in its like most literal interpretation. Once you internally reflect and look at issues more locally and acknowledge that this new external, larger global cycle is just a distraction from the failure to accept the changes that have happened within due to your personal circumstances, whatever heartbreak this is. You just need to know that the answer is to love people on the outside, and more importantly, to love yourself, because I feel that it's a distraction to avoid the uncomfortable thought about the things you don't like about yourself, and to try and embody what you think makes you good. But it's just avoiding fixing the things that you don't think are good. And I'm not even saying that these things about you are bad, but you think they are, and you're avoiding them because of the shame. Yes. So with the previous pile, I did a couple of oracle cards that I pulled out. And so I will do the same for you. So actually, you know what? For this pile, I'm going to use a different one. So instead of the Celebrity Spirit Oracle, which I used for the last one, I'm going to use the Music Oracles. Little flash of Dolly Parton there. Yep. Okay, that's the bottom of the box, not another card. I should have known that because it's a different color. Okay, so the cards that fell out is John Lennon and Madonna. So the first thing that comes to mind before I read any of the text on the card and the intended message of the oracle is both of these individuals like to push the envelope. They like to challenge the status quo. Now, personality-wise, they are very different people, and they are interested in very different things. But one thing that is certain and very strong about both of these people is they had very strong opinions and personalities, and that's almost a part of their identity and their brand. And I want to say their values are their brand. Okay, so I'm going to read this. Everyone is entitled to, this is Madonna, by the way. Everyone is entitled to your opinion. Pleasure without permission can be the greatest pleasure of all. You are and always will be your own work in progress. So for that one, what I am getting very strongly is that you need to accept, to escape that sense of shame that you're trying to avoid, that you are a work. I heard act in progress. It says work in progress, but I heard act in progress. You are an act in progress. So I don't know if that will resonate with anyone or if that's just, problem with speaking. But yeah, so her identity is very much revolving around speaking her mind and sharing her opinion with as many people as possible and projecting her own self out there and enjoying rubbing people the wrong way. In contrast, we have John Lennon. And he is here to assure you not everything you see is mirage, not everything that you hear is a lie. If you enjoy wasting time, then it isn't wasted. Peace is the only thing worth hoping for. So I think it's very interesting that the theme of illusions came up, considering the moon in reverse. And the first line is saying, not everything you see is a mirage. So what I get from that, and the fact that it's in contradiction to the earlier message with the moon in reverse, is that you may be very distrustful right now, and that you should focus again on that internal healing and to not imagine or make your pain disappear. So just as you are being fooled by certain illusions out in the external world, not everything is a mirage. And you need to sit with yourself and accept the reality of certain things that you have experienced in your, let's say, localized life, more close to home. So you have to focus. You have to accept that even though something is over in your personal life, it's not over in here. Your heart space is still processing it. And all of these illusions and mirages, if you will, are distracting you from the physical pain that you are experiencing, the thirst. So yeah, I think that's all that I have for you today, and I hope it was helpful to you. I know that it's not all going to be what you wanted to hear. It's a hard pill to swallow. I do want to assure you that once you process these emotions, once you stop focusing on all of the things going on in your external, you feel like the world is falling apart, and I'm assuring you that it's not. You need to process what's going on in here, and that will all be still there. The earth will still be there tomorrow for you to deal with all of that stuff later. But for now, you're not in the space to deal with whatever's going on out there. That's serving as a distraction from what's going on in here. So yes, I hope that was helpful to you. And if it was a helpful message, please like, please comment, please subscribe. Thank you for listening. Hello. Two birds on a wire. Okay, so Rebecca Spector, I believe, is the artist of that song. You might want to look into the lyrics. I feel that is the channeled message for this collective, for this group. I want to discuss it a little bit more in depth, but for some reason I feel like this is a topic of sensitivity. So people who are called to look into that song further will do so, and the people who want to ignore this part of the message, I invite you to do that also. It is your right. I do feel that there is a sense of walking on eggshells. Like, it's something that I don't really want to, it's like, oh, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. So I don't really want to go any further into that message. But I will say that you are a very understanding and compassionate person, and you sometimes perhaps turn a blind eye to some of the bad habits with those around you, and it may not be beneficial for your growth. I think that when you're, no, I don't want to say that, that's too hard. Okay, I think you'll know when the time is right. I'm keeping it vague here. You know when the time is right. You will know when and that's all I'm going to say. So if you want to investigate further, that's up to you. Do I have any more channeled messages? Because I know that for a lot of people who selected that pile, this pile, the channel message kind of acts as a vibe check. And for some of you, it might be more suitable for you to go to the other piles. You will know if that applies to you. The underlying message is, for this pile, is you know what's right for you and what isn't. You know what's right for you and what isn't. And it's a matter of accepting what is right for you and what isn't. Because you feel like maybe things will change, and you're waiting for a change in the weather. But it's hard for you to judge right now the actions of others because there are stressful circumstances. So you don't really know whether or not the behavior of others is a true indication of who they really are as people, or due to their stressful circumstances. And I think that so far you have actually been a pretty good judge of the way things are. But you're a person where you sit and wait, and you're waiting for more information to come in to confirm what your gut is telling you. So, okay, now into the tarot reading. So I'm going to start off with the movie tarot, as I have with the other piles. Oh, clumsy hands. I nearly sprayed the entire deck. Everywhere I heard the word wild card. Or wild child. Okay. So there may be a sense of loss of control, feeling a bit erratic, or maybe this other person might be behaving in a way that is unpredictable or different, and you are just sitting and observing. Okay. maybe you are sitting and observing and see if their actions align with their words. So I got the Four of Swords in reverse. So the first thing I heard is someone may not be taking the rest that they need to. Someone may be suffering from, because the Four of Swords is about rest, someone may be suffering from insomnia, but not the kind of insomnia that you would experience from like the Nine of Swords energy, where they're being kept up with worries. It's more not being able to sleep well due to a health condition, is what I'm hearing. Maybe it's someone with like a medical condition. I don't diagnose medical conditions. I'm just saying if there is someone you know that has impacted breathing while they are sleeping, like sleep apnea or something like that, this message probably applies to you. Four of Swords energy is about not listening to your body when your body is telling you that it's time to stop. Maybe you feel compelled to keep on acting. And that fell next to the Four of Swords in reverses, next to the Five of Coins upright, and then the Knight of Swords in reverse. So someone who is Knights of Swords people are rather, they don't mince words, they don't play around. So someone who is the Knight of Swords in reverse, I'm not actually sure who that is supposed to be. If somebody knows which movie this is referring to, please leave it in the comments. There's like a little shimmer on the film there. I don't know if you noticed that. But yeah, so if you know whose character this is supposed to be, let me know. But yeah, the Knight of Swords in reverse. He's got it. I noticed he's carrying his bag. He's got his bag packed. He's someone who's not very good with his words. And then there's this Knight of Wands and Seven of Wands. So, wait a second, is there a card in here? Okay, so that's Indiana Jones, who is a Tomb Raider. And there's also Justice, with, I forget his name, it's so ridiculous. Look, I will add it later if I remember. He's a famous movie Western star. Oh, it's going to bother me now. It's going to bother me really badly because I should know this. And the Nine of Coins. So what I'm getting is there's been a lot of things going on where people haven't honored their commitments, but with the Nine of Coins and Justice coming in, I feel like next to the Seven of Wands, it feels like maybe there will be a change in the seasons. You will get an upper hand of some sort. Yeah, I feel like you are the King of Wands. And I'm not just saying that because the Knight of Swords came in reverse, which is the negative characteristics, because there's certain elements or shadow aspects of our personality which can attract those kinds of energies. So I'm not saying that it's you because it's in the upright position, and I don't want to say anything unflattering about you, but I honestly, in earnest, feel like you are the King of Wands. You have a lot of passion and ambition and adventure, and I feel like, I don't know why I feel this way, because with Indiana Jones, he's not exactly the noble type, but he still has this perception. Like, I think he shoots someone dead in what appears to be like a fair fight. and he just pulls his gun out and shoots somebody. So it's the perception of you being righteous and having the upper hand in the situation, even and things working out in your favor and wish fulfillment, even if you weren't always in the right, okay, or if other people didn't think that you were right in doing so. So sometimes people think that doing the thing that is right for you, some people don't like the fact that other people can be caught in the crosshairs, there can be fallout or collateral damage. And maybe that's what I'm getting from this with the 5 of coins and the 4 of swords that was in reverse. With this Knight of Swords in reverse, maybe you stepping into your power has left someone feeling left out in the cold and a little bit salty. I'm not gonna lie, he looks rather salty, and maybe it's actually negatively impacting this person, as you can see with the 4 of Swords. Maybe it's impacting their health negatively. Maybe there's something that they can't let go of, something that you have done. And I don't want to say that it's something that is wrong. I will never say that acting in your own interest is wrong. But there is definitely someone who doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about you right now and feels very abandoned by you pursuing your dreams. With this 9 of coins energy. And perhaps with the competitive 7 of wands energy, where you're fighting off the words of your detractors, maybe you have the upper hand in this interaction. Maybe there is some kind of I don't know, gender dynamic that is working in your favor in this particular situation, and maybe it's perceived as unfair to this person, and it's affecting them negatively, and it's affecting their health. Maybe it's even affecting their finances. So usually, if we're talking about relationships, you could be discussing things like child support, alimony, particularly with the justice system being involved here, you having the upper hand with the 7 of wands, but it can also be related to it could be relating to a judgment being made in your favor due to you know what, I heard that the evidence, like, I know that this is not what the 7 of wands usually means, but I heard that you had the receipts. So you got your justice, and you got everything that you needed to get out of this situation, and I'm saying that it's fair and it's just, but it's only fair and just for you. Just because it's fair and just for you doesn't mean that the other person feels the same way. They might feel a little exposed and vulnerable. And okay, so the 8 of coins has come out, and I feel like this is something that is an energy that has been building for a while. So okay, so 8 is definitely a number in numerology, which is good for fortune. So if you've been seeing 888 a lot, I feel like there is going to be an unanticipated stream of income coming in for you. So again, I think that really emphasizes a legal judgment, something, a judgment that has been made in your favor in regards to pretty much any institution, some form of arbitration or a legal dispute, something like that has ended up in your favor. Despite it being a rather rocky or difficult situation to navigate, you were well prepared. You were the Knight of Wands in this situation, but that doesn't mean that everyone will be happy. And coming back to the channel song at the beginning, Two Birds on a Wire, I just because it's like a pairing of birds, um, um, it could be related to a relationship. It could be related to a separation, someone feeling left behind. But regardless of what the situation is, you did what was in your best interest to do at that time. And I want to assure you that that this uncomfortable feeling that you are feeling, because you may have a lot of empathy for this Knight of Swords, you may not want to see them suffer. You may not want to see, you don't have any ill will towards them. You don't wish them ill. You don't want them to suffer poor health. Nothing like that. What I see with the Five of Pentacles as well is this feeling of abandonment and feeling out of gold and struggling monetarily. What I also feel very strong is this victim mentality, of being almost in denial that these changes were occurring in the first place. So not being well equipped to deal with these changes, and not being able to accommodating the change of hands, or not being able to prepare for something to be settled and to be finalized. So is there anything else? Sorry, this is a very, very specific reading for your group. So it doesn't have to be a separation of a romantic couple. It could be the dissolution of a partnership in a business capacity. It could be a friendship that blew up. And maybe basically, if you look at it as a unamicable split, maybe one friend took all the other friends from the friend group with them, and the other person was left with nobody. And maybe that is perceived as unfair or unjust, from the Knight of Swords perspective. And maybe they're not, maybe they're in a period of isolation, but not a hermit kind of sense where they're embracing their solitude, but like, I heard pity party of one. Oh, I'm holding up the wrong card. I'm so sorry. So I was supposed to be holding up the Five of Coins. So this is the situation that they could be in, but this is the situation that they're actually in. And maybe I heard having all your eggs in one basket. So most of their distress comes from the fact that they maybe did invest all of their energy in this one particular group. I heard burning bridges with the other side. And so if that's a relationship, maybe there's some message behind not burning the bridges so everything is a loss. Because certain losses we cannot avoid with these situations, whether it be a friendship breakup, a relationship breakup, a dissolution of a marriage, or a business partnership, or even a falling out with a family member. We cannot avoid there being certain consequences, people taking sides. Um, and under these circumstances, you shouldn't feel bad that you have love and support around you. And you shouldn't feel guilt over the fact that that other person may not have that. If you feel guilt about those particular things, accept accountability where accountability lies. No, I don't want to say that. Okay, I got the Magician in reverse. So what I'm getting is be sure that you don't invest all your power and resources in engaging in petty activities. You are the King of Wands. If this person is salty with you, don't give them the energy or the reason to be salty with you. Okay? Because ultimately, what I'm getting is that they are potentially disempowering themselves, isolating themselves. And yes, they have legitimate losses, and you have um, legitimate gains, and you have definitely profited from this person's, I don't want to say demise, fall from grace. But it's just the way that things have fallen. It wasn't an intentional, you didn't intend to cause this person, this Knight of Swords, harm. And it's not like, I hear that they are definitely lashing out against you. But do not take it to heart. And I know that this may sound out of character for you, but I'm actually feeling that you should pray for this person. That even though they are directing a lot of negativity towards you, I'm hearing turn the other cheek, because you did end up victorious with the Seven of Wands and the Nine of Coins and the Justice. Things did end up in your favor, and a little empathy wouldn't go astray for this person. I think that they don't need the additional energy of piling on. They don't need your friendship group or your family to pile up on them energetically and say, oh yeah, well, they didn't deserve you anyway, you're so much better than them. They are already in a very low place. So I think it's really important to stress, and I really want you to know that you are doing very, very well. The outcome has worked out quite well for you. You're going to profit from this situation spiritually, emotionally, if not monetarily. And you should not invest any time making this person feel this reverse Knight of Swords. You don't need them to feel any worse about themselves. They need to not be reminded of their inadequacies right now, because they have to get themselves out of this hole. You trying to help them will come from a place of pity, and what's come out is the Moon, the World, and the Six of Swords in reverse. And there's actually this bird. I don't know if you can see it. This bird with, like, I think it's a messenger pigeon. So I feel like the best way that this person, if you stick around and you continue to invest your mental energies and focusing on this person, they are not going to be able to heal. They're going to stay in that reverse Four of Swords energy. And I feel that this group is not a terrible person who wants a person to ruminate over them, obsess over them forever. They would like this other person to move on, because you don't actually wish them ill will. You just realize that a certain situation just wasn't beneficial to you anymore, that it was benefiting the other person more than it was benefiting you. Or maybe this group was benefiting from your energy, feeding off your good vibes, and you thought that, oh, there's actually an alternative interpretation of this reading, and it's that perhaps they took off with all of your friends, and you were left with nothing, and initially you felt left out in the cold. This is only for a small number of people, but I'm being told that you were the King of Wands and you didn't really lose anything. They lost you. So that's for a small number of people, that you received the short end of the stick. You lost everything. You lost the access to support and resources, and that this sense of rejection that you feel may be making you feel less grounded. You may be resting less, not taking care of your health as much as you should. So for a small number of people, there's that reassurance that moving on is the right approach. You haven't moved on yet, but you should and you will, and you need to move on to new things and new people. And that's a message that applies for both. The world is your oyster. There, I hate that saying, but for some reason it keeps coming out of my mouth. The world is open and available to you, and there is even the most unique person. There is a friend or a lover out there for you. And if you had a falling out with family, maybe there is a family out there even for you too, that isn't your blood, but embody the same things and value the same things that you do, and will accept you as a part of their family. But maybe, so that's all that's left for that particular very specific message when it applies to you. But for the majority of you, where you ended up on top, you ended up on top. And for those of you, for you to stick around and try to make things right with this person because you pity them, you feel sorry for this Knight of Swords in reverse, for you to stick around and for you to offer your hand, they're just going to swat it away. They're just going to swat it away. You've hurt them deeply, and they're not going to trust anything that you offer them, because you did hurt them, whether you intended to or not. They are just going to perceive you in this very untrustworthy, sneaky, manipulative energy. Like you're just finding another way to stick another knife in their back. So it's best that you withdraw your energy so this person can heal, so they can stop thinking about you, because you thinking about them has this effect, the cyclical effect of them thinking about you. They want to forget you. They want to move on to other things. They don't want to feel that sense of rejection and abandonment that is the Five of Pentacles. They don't want to feel that anymore. They just want to be able to move on, but there is too much too much thinking too much thinking about this person, and you feeling sorry for them. You feeling so sorry for them, and that is not helpful. That is not helpful to feel sorry for them. Pity never helped anybody. And helping people out of pity never helped anybody. So the best way that you can help them heal and to send the message that you wish them well and that you wish them healing is, funnily enough, not being in their energetic field, not thinking about them, so they can focus on other things that they enjoy instead of thinking and feeling about the things that they've lost. Okay, with the other piles, I have used the Celebrity Spirit Oracle and the Music Oracles, but for this pile, I will be using the Art Oracles. So, the purpose for drawing these cards is for additional guidance or clarifying information, just to pad out your reading a little bit more, just in case there are elements of ambiguity, just to really solidify what this reading is about. Okay, so I feel like taking 2 cards. And the 2 cards that I have taken is a card by Francisco Goya. And it says, in the case of emergency, locate your nearest exile. And a good caricature is no exaggeration. Truth takes shape in the shadow. So I am getting that what has happened between you and this other person or persons, you versus them, is actually essential for their growth, and that they're behaving in unbecoming ways right now because of the perceived hardship or the thing that you've put them through, is actually essential to reveal some underlying wounds that have been left to fester up until this point, and that you have been a part of this person's journey so they can actually become the best version of themselves. And underneath all of these layers, there are subconscious influences and belief systems that influence how this person behaves. And it's not just how they behave, it's also how they feel about who they're supposed to be in their relationships, the role that they're supposed to take, and how the other person is supposed to behave and act and feel. So, regardless of whether this is romantic or this is a family conflict or this is a fallout with a friend, or this is some kind of industrial dispute, dispute with like people within your employment setting, it does not matter. This conflict is actually necessary for the other person's growth, because perhaps they've never encountered this situation that they've encountered, or this pattern of behavior has never instigated any conflict. Maybe they are a person who is used to things unfolding that is beneficial to them, and they're not used to not getting their way. And they needed to know what it was like to not get their way. So that's what I'm getting from Francisco Goya. If you would like to research his artwork further, maybe there is particular imagery in his works that resonates with you and will give you some sort of omen. So I don't know if you see that imagery clearly, but there's the shadow, there's the goat in his shadow, and the owl flying overhead. The goat's almost whispering in his ear. And the owl is symbolic of wisdom. So, yeah, so devil energy is definitely dominant. And what thought form wins? What thought form will win is an important question. So, the next one is Pablo Picasso. And the text says, if nothing else, be prolific. Choose to have as many styles as you do lovers. Make something worth impersonating. So this may have been, maybe this person may have been very demanding of you. Maybe they expected, if you were in a relationship, maybe there was one set of rules for you and a different set of rules for them. Maybe you were they're one lover for you, but many lovers for them, or vice versa, where you were looking for something more casual and they were looking for something more serious. Perhaps if this is in relation to the workplace, maybe you have a much more pro-social, diplomatic way of dealing with things within the workplace, but maybe they've got a more dominant personality that gets them into a lot of conflict, and that is why they are feeling isolated. Maybe they were fired from their job because of something that they did to you. That only applies for a small number of people, or perhaps that you made a complaint about this particular person and the outcome was found in your favor. Make something worth impersonating is something that really jumps out at me. So what I am getting from that is maybe, no, I've lost my train of thought. Okay. So if I'm not getting why that is significant. So maybe make something worth impersonating is relevant to what happened in the conflict, and you will understand what that means. So that's all I have for you for this reading. If that resonated with you, if you liked it, please like it. If it resonated, please comment, please subscribe. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have for you today. I hope it helped you in some way, and thank you. Thank you for listening.